Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super speculation, theory, what if kind of video. We're going to be talking about something that's coming up in Dragon Ball Super. Basically, we've gotten spoiler warnings for this for episode 85, so if you don't want to be spoiled, if you don't want any of that stuff, so please just make sure to click off this video, come back to it when you either afterwards or something. I don't even know if it's going to be relevant, but if it is, I completely called it. But anyway, today I have with me the Golden Scouter to help discuss this particular theory of mine. And if you haven't already, please make sure to stop the video, go down to the description section below because it's the easiest way to find his channel. Make sure to click that link and basically show him some love, tell him you want to see more of this stuff, because the guy does some really awesome power scaling videos for you guys, like awesome videos that you love. I know a lot of the community loves to see power scaling videos, but also some kind of more information and other really cool original stuff that you don't necessarily see around the community a whole lot. Like he does some cooking tutorials for Dragon Ball food and Dragon Ball style drinks and all that other stuff. So if you want to see more of that, if you think the originality is really good for this particular community, make sure to go support him, subscribe to him, watch his videos, and hopefully he'll do more of that stuff in the future. But anyway, with all that said, Scouter, how are you, man?
Good. How are you doing, real to real?
I'm good, man.
Thank you for all the kind words again.
Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about episode 85, and we've gotten spoilers, spoilers for episode 85 from Herms over at Twitter. He is basically telling us that essentially what's going to happen is the Gods of Destruction and the Gods of Creation are going to be meeting separately to discuss how this tournament's going to go and certain ways that they can either turn the tides in their favor or maybe even get Zeno to stop destroying all the other universes. And one of the things that we got from that is particularly we got that the Gods of Destruction are going to be discussing without Beerus a way to kind of turn the tides outside of Universe 7's favor. And we knew this was coming for a really long time. We knew that Universe 7 was probably going to have a target on its back for one reason or another, just because, look, these are the guys that we kind of aspire to be. These are the people that we follow in this particular story. And it would make sense that if all these other universes are fighting for their own survival, then the tides would be turned, and our universe, at least for the very beginning of this arc, would seem like it was going to be somewhat of a, antagonizing force, even though that's not necessarily what it is, or probably not even what it's going to be at the end of the arc. So, a lot of people are going to be speculating. I'm sure a lot of people have speculated that one of the things they're going to be discussing, the thing they're going to come up with is the fact that, look, we're just going to make sure that all of our universes do nothing but fight Universe 7, get all those people out so they're definitely destroyed, and, to the winner goes the spoils. Whoever's going to be last person standing is going to be the last person standing. But we've seen how strong Goku is as opposed to all these other universes, or maybe even anyone that they actually think exists in any of the other universes. So let's just make Universe 7 out at the very beginning, and then we'll fight amongst ourselves. That is kind of a straightforward answer, at least when you come to me and you say, like, oh, what do you think about this? Do you think, like, they're going to be doing that? Yeah, I think so. But, Scouter, this is what I'm thinking, right? All right, stay with me. I think that what they're going to decide is, because we have these dual kind of meetings between the Supreme Kais and the Gods of Destruction, I think what they're going to decide, given some information that we figured out in the last arc of Dragon Ball Super, is that the best way to get Beerus and Co. in Universe 7 to basically go along with them and play the game that they want to play is by stealing or kidnapping the Supreme Kai and holding him hostage. Because the last time we were talking with Goku Black, basically going around and killing the Supreme Kais, because when you kill the Supreme Kais, it instantly kills the Gods of Destruction, and it basically nullifies the angels. So, that's a big bargaining chip, honestly. And although everyone's going to die at the end anyway, maybe they think, and maybe Champa can play some role in this to let you talk about any of that stuff later, but maybe all that would kind of play into Beerus maybe having Goku throw the fight, or having his team kind of not try as hard as they should be. And then you got to play like a little counter dynamic between how Goku wants to approach the fight and how Beerus wants them to approach the fight because of this particular bribery or blackmail or whatever you want to call it. And then basically that's how it goes up. And I think the funny part about this is one of the things we got at the very beginning of Dragon Ball Super was that Beerus, in a fit of rage after losing in a game, basically stole or trapped the Elder Kai and the Z Sword from Dragon Ball Z days. We got that information, but what if he did that in order to make sure, as a lot of people have speculated, that he wouldn't necessarily die if, without having a Supreme Kai basically, I guess, vulnerable, what would happen to him if that was the case? So, I'm not saying one way or the other, we don't really know, but I know that was a lot to take in. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, I mean, the whole kidnapping thing, it's kind of interesting to kind of, blackmail Beerus that way, because, there's so many Kaioshins in Universe 7. I mean, there's, 4 or 5 or 6 of them, at the beginning where Majin Buu absorbs them, and some of them that he killed, of course, but, I mean, at that point, it's since Buu has some of those Kaioshins absorbed, does that mean that they would have to kill Buu too? So basically they'd be sitting there with a hostage that, I don't know, basically is kind of useless in their plans. So would that even work in the first place? What are your thoughts on that?
That's actually a really, really good point, considering the fact that Buu, for what we know, he and this is in the manga too, guys. This isn't just filler or anything. He absorbed the Grand Supreme Kai, which is what you would imagine is the Kai that you have to absorb or kill or something in order to basically nullify Beerus. And that's an interesting little point. To put it into perspective, though, I guess you had in the same Trunks' timeline, Trunks basically took out Babidi and Dodoria, or not Dodoria, but Dabura. There's a lot of different names. He basically killed those people, but he didn't necessarily kill Buu. But at the same time, it was kind of indicated that Whis was nullified because the Supreme Kai was killed. And when you talk about those guys being killed, one of the things they actually showed in the manga and the anime was the fact that he had used, or at least in the manga, I think it was more apparent in the manga that when he was fighting Dabura used his concrete spit to basically completely make the Z Sword out of concrete and then basically destroy it. And in that same fight, the Supreme Kai died. So you don't necessarily know which one of those people died in order to basically kill Beerus at that time, but one of them did. At least as long as logic still, persists in this. And I would imagine, even though the Grand Supreme Kai is definitely on that list of if they kill Buu, do they kill Beerus? Because he never really lost that title. Buu basically just absorbed him in a way that would never basically revert. Because if you remember, when Goku and Vegeta went into Buu's body, they basically stole. They basically took Piccolo, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks out, but they didn't even see, or there was no indication that there were other Kais just lingering in there. They might have been in there so long that they're basically just a part of him, because there is a difference between that Buu and all the other Buus that we saw. So, that is a good question. I mean, do they have to kill Supreme Kai? Do they have to kill Elder Kai? Or do they have to kill Buu in order to basically make it that Beerus actually exists? What are your thoughts? Who is the most likely candidate there?
I would say probably the Elder Kaioshin and just Kaioshin himself. Because I don't know, those other Kaioshin from, the ones that Buu killed and absorbed, I don't know, those ones actually don't really seem like the ones that you would kill, because the story keeps trying to hammer it into us that it is Kaioshin and Elder Kaioshin. Because, if it was the other ones, you'd figure that Beerus would have said something about that.
Mm-hmm. Or it would make a lot less sense when you go into, if you would, basically say that it was Buu, it'd make a lot less sense when you look at it in terms of the future Trunks' timeline. Because Buu might have been technically alive in the egg state for a long time, but I don't necessarily think it was said one way or the other whether he destroyed the egg or he just stopped anyone from trying to get to it, but they could have destroyed it. I mean, that would have been the weakest form of Buddha, I guess, mess with, so it could have been working either way. Personally, I like the idea, and I know a lot of people have thrown that around. I like the idea of it being Elder Kai, just because it kind of, if that was a rule that Beerus was aware of, then having him trapped in the Z-Sword would probably be the safest place. And I feel like that's probably something that would be interesting just to see, like, if they were to work with that particular situation going into maybe whatever scheme that they're planning. If it just happens to be this, they basically take the Supreme Kai, who's, I think, the East Kai at the time. Like, he was kind of forced into that position, but they take him with the idea that we're blackmailing Beerus. But at the same time, because the Elder Kai still exists and might be the one who's tangibly connected to Beerus himself, that apparently, like, or at least initially, like, it seems like there's like a big, like, oh my god, like, they're going to blackmail Beerus and he's going to completely change his tone. But then he's like, you dicks, you completely, like, lost your focus. You didn't really know what was going on. And I planned for this. I planned for this like millions of years ago, and that's why I trapped him in the Z-Sword. And it's just something that kind of ties itself into Dragon Ball a little bit more, you know, Dragon Ball Z mythology a little bit more, and plays off the fact that this was something that actually happened, and this is why we're here at this point right now.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff from the Buu Saga in general has just been built upon in Super. Because a lot of the stuff in the Buu Saga in general is just kind of, like, totally out of left field. But then, like, even so, like, earlier Dragon Ball, you can just make that, you could just say that about any point in Dragon Ball, though, so that might be kind of a moot point, because Toriyama just tends to make things up on the spot a lot of the times. But I don't know. I mean, another reason why I think that they could kidnap Kaioshin is maybe just to tell Beerus to, I don't know, change their strategy or something like that. Or just kind of put a negative handicap on Goku and the gang and all of them.
Yeah, and I think, like, personally, I feel like the one thing that brings a lot of weight to this particular theory is the way that they're handling this, the manga and the anime at this point. We know that the anime is just going to jump right into it just because of the way they've kind of been marketing in the whole thing. It's going to jump right into it. There's not going to be this preliminary storyline. There's not going to be this build up. It's probably just going to be like, oh, here's the grand start of the tournament and yada, yada, yada. We have our team and let's get ready to fight. I mean, that's just the way it looks like it based on what the promotional material we've seen and all this other stuff. We're not going to get all this stuff that we've gotten in the anime. So they need to basically eat up time. And this would be a perfect way to eat up time, building suspense and tension that ultimately leads to nothing. And also just kind of not only a fun little nod to the whole mythology of the series, but also kind of a clarification on certain things that they retconned going into Super. And I personally think that that's a really good idea. But like with all of these theories that I always come up with, a little bit of fan speculation, fan theory, fan fiction territory in terms of this might be too good of a writing for Super. And I know that, and I'm okay with that, but take it as you will. I think they're fun just to talk about anyway.
Who knows, maybe they're just meeting up just so they can try and plant booby traps or something like that for Universe 7.
That would be cool. That would be cool too. I know I talked about this with MJ in another video, but I really want them to. I really would like them to basically go into this with the idea that we're going to all just gang up on them. I know that's what everyone's thinking that they're going to do, basically because they've said it at this point. But I feel like that would be really, really, really cool. Like everyone just gangs up on Universe 7. You're just like, oh my god, like. You know, Vegeta's playing, like, having to fight, like, 4 or 5 people at the same time, Gohan, Piccolo, and all this stuff, and, like, all Goku's doing. Like, Goku's like, you know, the intro, and I know every time I mention the intro, I say, please take that with a grain of salt, because honestly, what they show us isn't necessarily what they show us or what they're going to show us, but what I really want is, like, everyone's playing, like, backup, like Universe 6, like in the intro. Just take the intro, like Universe 6 going crazy, Universe 7's going crazy because everyone's fighting with Universe 7, but maybe Universe 6 is also helping Universe 7 in a little way because they have certain respect for them. So like Frost and Kaba, based on what we see from the intro, and then like Goku being the dick that he is in this arc, or just the series in general, is like hyper focused on fighting Jiren, and like he's just walking towards Jiren while like all the other war is going on in the back of him. He's just like walking towards Jiren, and then Bergamo is just like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, Goku, and Goku's just like, nope, and like completely like takes him out like the same way that he does in the intro, and then like him and Jiren just like clash fists, and like that's the be all end all part of the tournament at the very beginning. That would totally flip my perception of everything that was going to happen in this particular arc.
Well, I think that many can agree that those wolves are not going to play a major part. Like, I have a feeling that they're going to.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And I actually did a video with MJ about that. It should be on his channel at some point. About how I feel like they're gonna be used, but yeah, not in a fighting sense. They're gonna get taken out immediately, but they might be used for the story in a good way. So anyway, guys, with that being said, like I said at the beginning of this video, please make sure to go check out Scouter. He always makes some really awesome content for you guys. And obviously, like, just go show some love and support for some people who are a little bit smaller in the community, who do their best and put a lot of effort into making some quality content for you guys. And I want everyone to basically go share this video out to your friends if you think that it's a good theory. I know we're just basically gabbing around, and honestly, this isn't necessarily something that might even happen, but I think it is a cool idea, taking context clues from Super as a whole. And we're going to catch you on the next theory video. But with that, have a nice day.